The Pearl Harbor Memorial Park is a place of contrasts. On one side lies the U.S.S. Arizona Memorial, where the remains of the hull of the mighty ship serves as a symbol of the attack on Pearl Harbor and serves as the final resting place of the 1,102 sailors who were killed during the fateful day and marks the beginning of the United States' involvement in World War II. Adjacent to the Arizona Memorial is docked the U.S.S. Missouri, also known as the Mighty Mo. On the very deck of this battleship was where World War II officially ended. Thus, the ship symbolizing the start of World War II for the United States and the ship where World War II ended are poetically next to each other. The Missouri was the last battleship ever built by the United States. She was launched on January 29, 1944 at the Brooklyn shipyards in New York City. The ship is almost 900 feet in length and over 209 feet in height. She is known for her iconic 16-inch guns that has a range of nearly 23 miles and took part in World War II, the Korean War, and the Gulf War. Because the Missouri is docked on Ford Island, access to the historic ship is through shuttle bus that visitors take through the Ford Island Bridge. Upon arrival, we are greeted with a statue of Admiral Chester Nimitz, who commanded the U.S. Pacific Fleet to victory in World War II. As we make our way to the ship, flags and colors of the United States greets the visitors. A gangplank allows the visitors to enter this historic ship. As I walk the decks of the Missouri, I'm overwhelmed by the history of this ship, not because of the battles it fought, but for the peace that was established here. It was on August 29, 1945, that the Missouri, along with a fleet of 300 Allied ships, arrived in Tokyo Harbor to finalize the end of World War II. Earlier that month, the United States dropped 2 devastating atomic bombs on the cities of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. On August 15, 1945, the Japanese emperor announced that it will meet the Allies' demands and unconditionally surrender. This was known as VJ Day, and it led to nationwide spontaneous celebrations throughout the United States. On September 2, 1945, the Missouri had the attention of the entire world, specifically on the starboard deck of the ship, where representatives of the Empire of Japan came on board the ship to formally surrender to the United States and their allies, marking the end of World War II. This is where legendary General Douglas MacArthur presided over the surrender of Japanese forces.
Representatives of the major warring powers to conclude a solemn agreement whereby peace may be restored.
After MacArthur's opening remarks, the Japanese foreign minister and the commanding officer of the Japanese army signed the document. General MacArthur would then sign his signature as the Supreme Commander of Allied forces in the Pacific. Following MacArthur, 9 other Allied military leaders also signed the historic document. Today, a plaque on the Missouri's starboard deck marks the exact location of the desk where the surrender papers were signed. Also on the surrender deck is a glass case which contains a duplicate copy of the documents of surrender that ended the war. These documents ushered in the United States as the most dominant superpower here on Earth, fulfilling its prophetic destiny. Although World War II is known as the bloodiest war in the history of the world, there's another war described in Revelation chapter 12, a war between the dragon and his kingdom, declaring war against God and his people. As the Arizona Memorial is a reminder of the beginning of World War II for the United States, so too this earth is a reminder of the beginning of the war of sin on this earth and the consequences thereof. But we are sure that Jesus will lead his people to victory. After World War II, the United States military victoriously entered into Japan, where they found a demoralized people and cities reduced to ashes. General Douglas MacArthur oversaw the occupation of the defeated empire and helped draft a new constitution where Japan would become a parliamentary democracy. The United States also helped the resilient Japanese people to rebuild their nation and ultimately left the Japanese to govern themselves by 1952. Today, the once destroyed cities of Japan have transformed themselves into cutting-edge ultra-modern cities of the future. Japan is now a global economic powerhouse that is vibrant in its standard of living and culture. At the Pearl Harbor Memorial, many tourists from Japan and from around the world come to experience a visual history of how World War II started and ended. And the presence of these tourists show the healing that the two nations experienced. That once bitter enemies in the past are today staunch allies that maintain a friendship for almost 80 years. Likewise, the Bible tells us to do good to our enemies, to overcome evil with good. For there are people even within the enemy's kingdom that we called out to join God's people. During the signing ceremony that marked the end of World War II, legendary General Douglas MacArthur, who oversaw the signing ceremony, stated,
"It is my earnest hope, and indeed the hope of all mankind, that from this solemn occasion a better world shall emerge out of the blood and carnage of the past.
We are promised that God provides us a new heavens and a new earth, where there will be no more death, dying, or crying. In fact, God gives us the tree of life to bring forth the healing to the nations." As the Arizona Memorial marks the scars of the beginning of World War II, so too the scars of Jesus from Calvary is a memorial of His sacrifice for us at the cross to save us from our sins. And so too, at the end, in the sea of glass, will be the city of God in the new earth that marks the memorial of the end of sin. And the war of the great controversy will conclude with complete victory of God's people and a united world of nations healed and at peace because Jesus brought them together through the scars of the cross in Calvary.